Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful stories ever put on film. It's a story about patience, an unbreakable friendship, and how hope can survive in a place that's designed to kill it.
And we're going to start with this quote right here, because it really is the heart of the matter. This comes from Red, a man who's been in Shawshank Prison for a long, long time. And he's learned a tough lesson. Dreaming about the outside world, that's what breaks you in here. This is the central conflict of the entire story. So let's step inside those walls. Shawshank is this cold, gray fortress, It's just filled with men who've given up. And into this world of despair, we get our two main characters. Their completely opposite views on life are what's going to drive everything. So on one side, you've got Shawshank Prison itself, a system literally built to grind people into dust. And on the other side, you've got this quiet, kind of nerdy banker named Andy Dufresne. To everyone, especially his new friend Red, it looks like this guy is walking into a world where hope isn't just a weakness, it's a flat-out liability. So here's the setup. The year is 1947, and Andy gets hit with 2 life sentences for murdering his wife and her lover. From the very beginning, he says, "I didn't do it." But, in the eyes of the law, the case is closed. That's it. His life, for all intents and purposes, is over. Now, once he's inside Shawshank, Andy doesn't try to fight the guards or, start some big riot. His rebellion is way quieter and, honestly, so much smarter. He just refuses to let the prison break his spirit. Instead, he finds these small, brilliant ways to carve out little moments of humanity. And what's so incredible here is how Andy uses his old life to survive in his new one. He uses his skills as a banker to get some leverage. First, it's just helping a guard to get some cold beers for his buddies. But then it grows. He's doing the books for the whole prison staff, even the warden. He builds a library from nothing, helps other guys get their high school diplomas. He's not just getting by, he's actually building a community. And this right here, this is Andy's whole philosophy. This is the theme of the movie. It goes against everything Red and Shawshank stand for. While Red is convinced hope is dangerous, Andy sees it as the one thing they can't take from you. It's the one thing that keeps you a person. So after years and years of this quiet patience, a real shot at freedom finally comes along. But this is also where the story takes its darkest turn. The system that Andy's been so carefully navigating, well, it shows its true, ugly face. And his hope, it gets put to the absolute ultimate test. A young guy, a new inmate named Tommy, shows up. And he's got a story. He tells Andy he once had a cellmate who bragged about killing a banker's wife and her lover, the exact murders Andy's in for. For the first time in almost 20 years, Andy has actual proof that he's innocent. But the warden, remember the one Andy's been helping launder money for? He can't afford to let Andy go free. So he has Tommy killed, makes it look like an escape attempt, and then throws Andy into the hole, solitary confinement, for months just to finally crush him. It really feels like it's over. The last little bit of hope is gone. When Andy finally gets out of solitary, he seems different, quieter. But you know what? It's not defeat. It's focus. Because for nearly 2 decades, Andy's hope wasn't just some abstract feeling. It was a plan. A slow, meticulous, and absolutely unbelievable plan. The next morning at roll call, the guards check Andy's cell, and it's empty. No broken bars, no signs of a struggle. He just vanished. Poof. It's a total mystery. The warden is losing his mind. Nobody can figure it out. So how in the world did he do it? This timeline really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? The sheer scale of Andy's patience is just mind-blowing. All those little victories we saw, the beers, the library, they were all just part of a much, much longer game. A game that he played for nearly 20 years. 19 years. Think about that. That's how long he worked, night after night, chipping away in secret. And where did all that work lead? To a sewer pipe, 500 yards long. Like Red says in the movie, that's the length of 5 football fields. He literally crawled through hell to get to freedom. And what did he use to dig this tunnel? Not some big piece of equipment. Nope, he used this, a tiny little rock hammer, the kind you can hide inside a book. He used an impossibly small tool to pull off the impossible. But here's the genius of it all. The escape was only part of the plan. He didn't just want to get out. He wanted justice. He had everything set up to expose the warden's corruption, to claim all that laundered money as his own, and then to disappear to a little town in Mexico he'd been dreaming about for years. So Andy's story is complete. He's free, but the movie's not over. The focus now shifts completely to his best friend, Red. Andy found his redemption, but now Red, who finally gets paroled, has to face his own final test, figuring out how to live in a world without walls, a world where he has to find his own reason to hope. And this is the huge challenge he's up against. He's become institutionalized. I mean, after decades of being told when to eat, when to sleep, when to use the bathroom, all that freedom on the outside, it's terrifying. He has no idea how to function. He gets to this really low point, right on the edge of just giving up. But then he remembers a promise he made to Andy. He decides to follow these old instructions to a specific field in a town called Buxton. He's choosing to follow his friend's path. He's choosing hope over fear. And there, in a little box buried under a tree, he finds some cash and a letter from Andy. The letter asks him to come find him in a small town on the Pacific coast of Mexico, Zihuatanejo. That name isn't just a place on a map anymore. It's the symbol of their dream, the final destination of hope. And this line from Andy's letter, this is really what it's all about, isn't it? It wasn't just a map to Mexico. It was a plea for his friend to join him. After all the corruption, the decades of patience, the genius plan, this whole epic story really just boils down to one simple, powerful thing: friendship. So Red breaks his parole and heads south. And on a sunny beach in Mexico, he sees his friend again. In that moment, Red finally gets it. He finally understands what Andy knew the whole time. He feels hope. Not as some dangerous fantasy, but as the best of things. You know, The Shawshank Redemption is a story about escaping from a prison. Sure, but it's really about escaping despair. And it leaves us with this one simple but really profound question. When we're facing our own walls, whatever they might be, what does hope mean to us?